privilege of working for the individuals that cannot be here today. And I am privileged and proud every single day to do this work. And I am incredibly proud to do this work alongside of all of you. I am incredibly proud to have the opportunity to be able to see the organization and other organizations that are our partners and friends continue to change and acknowledge how the Latino community will be essential to the Rhode Island community. And so I wanted to also briefly open it up to our beautiful and amazing, one of our co-chairs for the Latino Policy Institute, Diony Garcia, who has been with us for a while. Welcome, Diony Garcia.
Hello, everybody. I do appreciate everybody for coming. Good. I was going to wear that, but okay.
Oh.
No. I appreciate everybody for coming. It's great to have this amount of turnout, especially after the year that we've had. Thank you. I ordinarily do not prepare remarks, but earlier today I was on a phone call at work and they asked me for my office phone number and I forgot. It's been that kind of week, and so I did print out a few remarks and I'll be brief. I do not quite remember the first time I became aware of Latino Policy Institute, but I do remember when I wanted to become part of LPI. It was 2011. I was still in law school at Roger Williams. I was still, working my way through that experience. And at the time, while the world was going on outside of the halls of Roger Williams, momentum in Rhode Island towards securing in-state tuition for undocumented students was picking up. And so, many folks in this room were part of that struggle. I was not, but many folks in this room were. The General Assembly did not pick up this fight. There were advocates in the General Assembly for it, and there certainly would have been advocates today for it, but at the time, they didn't pick it up. And so, the Board of Governors for Higher Education was set on their agenda to approve this measure. And I, a law student, not involved, but observing, rooting, cheering from the sidelines, was reading everything I can on the subject, because I was daring someone to ask me for my opinion. They didn't, but I was ready. I listened to the testimony that was a couple hours, if I recall correctly, before the Board of Governors. I read everything that I can, articles discussing it, including LPI's report that was published earlier that year in 2011. It was titled "The Effect of In-State Tuition for Non-Citizens." It was 2011. It didn't say effect of in-state tuition for illegals. Undocumented was still a relatively new term. They went with non-citizens. They were inclusive. They were talking about our community. I listened to that testimony and I heard a high school student amongst the people that I listened to, some folks that I knew, some folks who are in this room. I heard the testimony of a high school senior from Classical High School, my high school, who testified passionately before the Board of Governors to give her the opportunity to go to college, to afford college, to give her the opportunity to have a college education that she didn't just deserve, but that she had earned. And it was still up in the air, but it passed. The Board of Governors for Higher Education did pass that measure. As a policy, not as a law, but nonetheless it was passed. So at the end of the day, that role that LPI will play, that supporting role, for the many community leaders that fought that fight, is what LPI is about. They gave those advocates and those individuals on the Board of Governors the data-supported report that made the case for why approving that measure was objectively the right decision, not for those individuals at stake, but for the community at large. Because sometimes, and LPI has found themselves in that role on multiple occasions, that when the moral decision is not enough for folks to act, the objective decision based on the data is the only way we'll get folks to move. After that, I sent LPI a Facebook message and I said, I would like to help. No one answered. To be fair, LPI was in a transition period at that time. I think they were just about to move to Roger Williams. I'm not sure if it was announced at that point. And they had just hired a new executive director who had not been hired. In 2012, I got an email from then Professor, now Mayor Alorza, asking me to go to lunch with him and that new executive director, Ana Cano Morales. And they recruited me and the Honorable Lisette Gomes to the board. I didn't have any idea that that would lead to what ended up being 9 years of a number of meetings, a number of transitions, but I did not hesitate to say yes. I'm on awe of the legacy that LPI is building and has built, more for the people that LPI has allowed me to work with. Notably, Domingo Morel, Dr. Domingo Morel, and now Mayor Alorza, the co-founders. Ana Cano Morales, who assumed her role as executive director like a force of nature. A great loss for LPI, but that led to great things nonetheless. The former board chair, Paula Fernandez, who's in the room, I'm sure. If we see her, point her out. Former chair, her patience and steadfastness, her grace, put LPI through a number of different transition periods. I still miss her to this day in these board meetings that we have for LPI. It was a privilege to work with all of them. I have the privilege to work with my current board, with the past board members. It's a privilege to work for Marcela, who you all heard today. Marcela has exceeded every expectation that was set for her and LPI. Not just by me, but by everybody else, and I will say my expectations were high. Not just because I knew Marcela, but because I could expect nothing less from LPI. I thank everyone, past and present board members, your countless meetings, the current board members specifically. During all of the meetings that we had during the pandemic, they stuck with us. During the transition period that led us to Marcela, they stuck with us. And so that I am eternally grateful. And lastly, I'd like to thank every individual sponsor that helped to make tonight a resounding success. LPI's 15-year legacy is important, but its legacy is its work. Supporting the Latino community in this state is also important now, more so than ever. LPI is an institution. It's 15 years old, and I ask you all to commit to ensuring LPI has 15 more years. We've lost institutions before. The Latino community, the community of color in Rhode Island has lost institutions. We have lost the Urban League. We've lost Chispa, giants in their day. And I ask you all to do your part to prevent that from happening to LPI, to help it grow, to support the Latino community, again, for another 15 years. I ask everyone in this room, to the extent that they can, to reach out to us in a way that they feel they could help, whether it's on the board or on a member of a committee, whether it is to donate or be a recurring member, a recurring donating member. That was a plug. I was assigned that. Of all the things I had to do, that was one. Whatever you can to do, reach us by email, and yes, maybe by Facebook as well. We have somebody on that now? Yes, we have someone on Facebook now. So we will get you in touch with us the minute that you reach out to us. Thank you, everybody.
And so I know that everybody's so excited in the back near the bar. You're all so excited to see each other after a year and a half. Pero, niños, I'm gonna need you to listen. Hey, I see. Okay, perfect. See, look, you see that? That was great. I should have been a teacher. Maybe I shouldn't have been. I thank you, Diony, for everything. And just to like replug it, and you'll see little QR codes everywhere. If you love LPI, consider becoming a recurring sponsor to the Latino Policy Institute, because 15 years are really difficult, but we're here for another 30 and more, and so we're gonna need all of you. And so with that, I also want to introduce the other amazing part of my co-chair, and is Antonieta Falconi, who has been with us since 2017, and Anton Antonieta's patience and explanation of our finance documents is incredibly helpful. Thank you so much, Antonieta.
Hi, everybody. It is so amazing to be here in person with you guys celebrating this amazing milestone for LPI. Thank you for making this such an amazing, wonderful celebration for all of us. I will also use a crutch because I haven't spoken in public in a very long time. So mostly I want to extend a few thank yous. So the first I would like to thank is the leading sponsors that have helped make this evening reality. So starting with the Rhode Island Foundation, the United Way of Rhode Island, Pawtucket Credit Union, Mayor Lorsa and the City of Providence, and Nellie Mae. I also want to go ahead and thank everybody that worked so hard to prepare, to plan, and execute this event, the LPI staff and the staff of the Guild. And next, I want to acknowledge, as Yoni already has, but there have been a few cohorts of board members of LPI staff that have made this organization what it is today. And we have all, I'm sure, have been very proud of everything it's accomplished, and I hope that you're all very proud of this milestone. I know there are many former board members, staff members that are here, so thank you very much. And along those lines, I want to mention two specific board members who have served at LPI for about 6 years. Their terms are expiring. And so I want to give a shout out to Andrew Bramson and Katiuska Perez, who are around here. So please a round of applause and thank you for those. So I just want to share a couple of small anecdotes, I guess. I have been on the board, as I said, or as Marcela said, for about 4 years. I joined the board because the former co-chair, or former chair, Paula Fernandez, approached me about being on the board. And at the time, to be honest, I wasn't familiar with LPI. I was involved with other organizations in the community, but none that really focused on issues of support to the Latino community. I'm an Ecuadorian American, and I really felt the call to support the community in some way. I was particularly drawn to LPI because LPI works on a systemic level. You know, we address issues from healthcare to education that help support the issues that are more pressing for the community as a whole. And so I am so glad that she asked me years ago to join, because now I am part of this amazing team. I'm so proud to work along Diony, along Marcela, and all of my fellow board members for all the great work that this organization does. I think that, and so sometimes I reflect upon this community that we serve, right? This community, the Latino, Latina, Latinx community that is so often stereotyped in a certain way, but the reality is that this community is so diverse, right? We come from countries with such diverse cultural identities, and yet here in this community, we all are strung together by this invisible thread of some kind, where we, as diverse as our personal stories are that have led us also to make a life here in Rhode Island, regardless of our backgrounds, we identify and we find a sense of belonging in this community. And that's something to be celebrated, you know? And so I just wanted to, reflect on that. I think it's so great that we have such strength, this diversity, and it's just something that I find so wonderful. I think that our individual stories are filled with like lived experience and struggle and sacrifice and choice and opportunity. And at the end of the day, we all find ourselves drawn to this community. So I'm so glad that you're here to celebrate in this community these 15 years of this awesome organization. So. program with Marcela giving an update on what LPI is focusing on now to serve our community. But before I do, I just want to call Diony up one more time. We want to take a moment to publicly acknowledge Marcela because she has been the director for a few years now through very challenging times, and she has proven herself a leader, a voice that is included and sought out for very relevant issues. You are at the table where you need to be, and thank you so much for your leadership.
Thank you. I didn't expect that. Thank you. As I said, it has been an honor to be part of this organization. I learned about the Latino Policy Institute when the amazing Ana Cano Morales, who I cannot see, was here. Can we give Ana Cano Morales? I met Ana Cano through a leadership program, and she was my mentor, and I freaked out when I saw her because I was like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, hi. And I'm so sorry about that. But the reason I freaked out is because I was in my mid-20s, and at that point I had never seen a woman that looked like me, a woman that had parents and a history that looked like mine, that had a leadership position and that talked about the communities that I came from. Today, I see amazing faces, and I wish this was brighter because I don't see all the beautiful faces, but we have faces of humans who came from places like I did, who are now leaders in our government, in our business, in our nonprofit. And that's a lot, but it's not enough. And that's the problem. And I am incredibly proud to be here every day, but I'm also incredibly proud to continue pushing because we are not a diversity hire. Having one or two of us in your job is not enough. Because only having a handful of legislators and counselors is not enough to understand that that city should be represented by people who look like you. And that's why we're here today. Because we are part of the community. We didn't just get here. And Ana likes saying this all the time, we've been here. You people keep saying that we just got here. You're welcome, we've been here. The Latino Policy Institute has been around for 15 years. And the work that we have done has changed things. The work that we are going to do is going to continue to change things. But we need everybody here to understand that this is a team effort, that the Latino Policy Institute depends and wants the support of other nonprofits, of other government organizations, because we are just one organization who doesn't speak for our community, but we are incredibly proud to fight for it. I am proud and excited for the next few years to come. We will continue working to advocate to ensure that all the federal money that has come to our state and to our local municipalities is spent in an equitable way, not just as a patchwork as it's been in the last few years, because this money is support to change things. Our Latino community was impacted in an incredible way in COVID and even before that. And when I have people ask, did the state or cities fail? No, they have been failing for a long time. And this is the opportunity that every single one of us have to understand that we have to change things, that things have to get better because we are part of this community and we deserve better if Rhode Island wants something better. So many humans are here, and I just want to thank all of you. If I don't hug you today, I just pretend I did because I'm so happy that you're here. I am blessed to have this job. I am blessed to have an amazing board. I am very excited, and thank you so much to Katiuska and Andrew for being part of this organization for the last 6 years. I'm excited for the new individuals that will come into our board and for the amazing humans that will continue to support us. Muchísimas gracias a todos.